taking you through some of the things people are talking about and some of the stuff they're sharing around the world on Newsfeed today. Another brutal murder of a young woman in India unites a nation in shock and anger. A powerful photograph from the Iraq protests spreads through social media. The baby Yoda trends again. Is this the new tea drinking meme? And a role reversal in Monday's Animals Doing Stuff. And top of our newsfeed, Priyanka Reddy. Her name has been a top trend out of India after her killing just a few days ago. People have been calling on those who've been arrested and accused of her murder to be hanged. The hashtag hangallrapists has been shared and tweeted out. So after the anger and outrage, what will be the reaction from those in power? Here's Radhika.
Under Indian law, it is prohibited to reveal the name of rape victims to preserve their dignity. However, after the gruesome rape case from Telangana, the victim's name itself has been trending on social media as netizens ask for justice for her and the toughest punishment for her attackers. 4 arrests have been made, but anger has been compounded after a minister said that the victim should have called the cops and not her sister when she sensed she was in danger. On social media, the Modi government's flagship program, Save the Daughter, Educate the Daughter, is being questioned. One tweet says, "Heartbroken to know that a young and successful doctor was allegedly raped, tortured and burnt alive in Telangana. The Save the Daughter, Educate the Daughter scheme was launched. But how to be safe from such rapists? If the country is free, why aren't its daughters?" Many on social media are also demanding quick justice in the case. Here's one tweet that says, "Nowadays, rape cases in our country are just 4 days protest. Will this still be going on? Or will it be changed? The rapist should be hanged to death. Action should be taken." Besides the anger, we've also seen targeted social media posts trying to communalize this incident. Several right-leaning individuals and groups have named only the Muslim accused in the case. The rest are Hindus. Another user said, "Muhammad Pasha with his gang raped Hyderabad doctor and burnt alive. They have become danger to survival of humanity, and every Hindu woman is a target for them." Another tweet brought out this unusual map of India, and while sharing this, the user wrote, "If they can decide her death, what is stopping the court from deciding their death?" Many feel that upsetting map is an accurate representation on the condition of women in India. On an average, according to government data from 2017, 92 rapes are reported in India every single day.
Okay, here are some of the other things that we saw on social media. Well, this photograph was taken during the protests in Iraq. It's been shared and liked widely. As you can see, it's a demonstrator dirtying with a gas mask around his neck, sitting in a throne-like chair, a chair that's been taken from one of the government offices. The caption with it reads, "Iraqi protesters take over government buildings and sit in the chairs of officials who failed them." The Iraqi Prime Minister resigned on Friday after weeks of anger from people on the streets of cities all over the country. This video has gone viral on South Korean social media. It shows a very brave man trying to warn drivers about the danger of black ice on the road ahead. It's like something out of a movie. Careful. And Disney will be happy. Baby Yoda is trending again. The little thing is becoming the breakout star of the new series on Disney Plus called The Mandalorian. Here it is, drinking a beverage from a bowl, which the internet is giving its best meme treatment. This one saying that the Baby Yoda is every mum watching you open gifts at Christmas. This one saying, "Me watching a couple break up loudly while I sip my coffee inside the Starbucks." And this one saying that Yoda sipping his beverage is the new Kermit sipping tea meme. But it's not just the meme of the sipping that's making the internet happy. This one is a mashup of Yoda changing the radio station on the Mando ship, and it's been watched more than 5.5 million times. And next up, the COP25 talk shop and the climate crisis is happening in Madrid. Humanity's future on this planet is perilous, and while that inspires speeches and policies by some, the real action needed by governments, like preventing the extraction of fossil fuels, is sadly missing.
First, it was climate change. Then, the climate crisis. And now, it's an all-out climate war.
No country is getting the job done. I mean, the simple reality is that we are way behind the 8 ball. Things are getting worse, not better. We've got to treat this like a war.
We must stop our war against nature, and science tells us that we can do it.
The rhetoric has changed significantly, but the action needed to make a difference hasn't. The UN says there are more than 580 accredited organisations working for the environment. But global leaders remain undecided on which policies should be adopted. Some nations even seem to be ignoring the advice of the vast majority of climate scientists. China will have more than 100 new coal-fuelled power stations in the next decade. Donald Trump has repeatedly dismissed the issue.
Yeah, I don't believe it.
And while Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has positioned himself as a climate defender, his support for a controversial oil pipeline suggests otherwise.
Because we need to get our resources to markets other than the United States in a safe and secure way, and that's what the Trans Mountain Pipeline will do. And then we will be able to invest all profits and revenues into this green energy and fighting climate change that Canadians expect us to act on.
But the talk continues.
Public opinion is waking up everywhere. Young people are showing remarkable leadership and mobilization. More and more cities, financial institutions, and businesses are committing to the 1.5-degree pathway, and that was recently clearly proved during the Climate Action Summit in New York. What is still lacking is political will.
Maybe this generation of young environmentalists will grow up to be the politicians that we need.
You all come to us young people for hope. How dare you?
But by then, it may well be too late.
Well, Lebanon's government has resigned, but the protests which have plagued the country for more than a month continue, as does the political instability. Now, last week, clashes broke out between young people from 2 adjacent neighbourhoods in Beirut, one Christian, one Muslim. In the past, Lebanon has had big problems with sectarian divisions, but on the weekend, women from both neighbourhoods took to the streets saying never again. Take a look.
أنا بحس إنه أنا عم وصل صوتي عنهم، عرفت شو؟ وهذا السلام رح نحن زرعناه قبل هلا وهلا حيفرق وحنزرعه عن جديد، وما بدنا يكون في عنا أي شغب أو أي تحركات مش منيحة بين أولادنا وبين أهلنا وبين ناسنا. نازلين هي رسالة محبة لنقول لهم إنه لبنان لنا كلنا، ما بدنا مناطق، ما بدنا شوارع، بدنا نعيش نحن لبنانية بحرية بكرامة، بدنا نحب بعض. آن الأوان إنه كلنا نحب بعض ونتجمع تحت مطالب المعيشية، بدنا العدالة الاجتماعية للكل. هيدي هي اليوم نحن رسالتنا، رسالة حب.
And we keep on spinning around the world now for some other stories you need to know this Monday. Well, this is Veronika Dudusenko. She won the Miss Ukraine beauty pageant, but her prize was taken away as the organizations that run these spectacles say that women who enter cannot have had children. Miss Veronika is taking legal action against this year's Miss World event, which is being held in London next week. She wants mothers to be allowed to participate. And Amazon have stopped selling these things. They are Auschwitz-themed Christmas ornaments. The retailer stopped selling them after it was alerted to their gross offensiveness by people on social media. Well, these children are playing in toxic foam on a beach in Chennai in India. The bubbles have been caused by pollution from sewage. The foam reportedly smells acrid, and fishermen have been told not to go to sea for a few days while the foam dissipates. The Pollution Control Board says it's analysing samples of the waste and advises people not to go near it. The message is clearly not getting through, and some on social media suggest that filming kids playing in it isn't helping. And H&M is trialling a clothing rental service at its flagship store in Stockholm. For about $37 a week, fashion lovers can borrow 50 different items of clothing. It's a response to the criticism the fast fashion industry is facing. Clothing is responsible for 10% of global greenhouse gas emissions, more than aviation and shipping combined. China is making it law that if you want a phone, the state is going to need a scan of your face. It's part of an effort by the Chinese Communist Party to, in its words, protect the legitimate rights and interests of citizens in cyberspace. China is a world leader in facial recognition technology, and some people are concerned the law is a further erosion of the right to privacy. Well, now we can go to Soweto in South Africa, where a festival celebrating tattoos is being held. Adam has the story.
For these South Africans, getting a tattoo is a life-changing experience. But they are also part of attempts to change how tattoos are viewed by the rest of the country. On the weekend, Soweto Inc. hosted a convention aimed at dispelling myths surrounding tattoo culture.
We have a lot of different diverse cultures in our community. So most cultures, they don't like tattoos. They believe it's demonic, they believe it's a sign of satanic symbol of worship. So they still need to be taught how the culture is. It's all about art. Like, you can take your art from the wall and put it on your skin.
Tattoos are nothing new in Africa. For thousands of years, they reflected the spiritual practices, histories, and cultural identities of various ethnic groups. For the Ko of Burkina Faso, facial scarring was a way to show one's status, but that practice is now in decline. Religion plays an important role in some African societies, and some faiths, such as Islam, consider tattoos impermissible. Health and safety is also a major concern.
It's a major problem because people still tattoo in the back room. They don't have proper shops in business spaces. That's what we're trying to introduce to the people and educate the people, and how to get the proper certification and how they should dispose their waste. They shouldn't just like put it in dustbin and stuff like that. It's small things that they're still not aware about. They're still behind.
In the West, tattoos are becoming more mainstream. 30% of Americans have a tattoo. For millennials, that proportion increases to 50%. In South Africa, historical tributes have contributed to growing demand for tattoos. Nelson Mandela is one such request.
5 hours of suffering, it doesn't make up for the 27 years of him being in prison. You know, that 5 hours is like a small pat on the back. For me to give him another 27 years of life by people seeing my tattoo is probably more important to me than anything else.
Tattoo ink is permanent, but it's hoped cultural objections to it here will fade over time.
And lastly, for Monday's Animals Doing Stuff, we have a couple of unlikely friends who seem to be having way too much fun now. ABC in Australia shared this video on Facebook over the weekend. The caption was, "Sometimes the dog chases the lamb, sometimes it's the other way round." And as you can see, in this case, it is the other way round, as the little lamb chases the dog on this farm in a place called Jimboomba. Do you from the Newsfeed team. Reach out to me with your questions, comments, complaints and suggestions. You'll find me at Kamali Melbourne. You'll find us 24/7 on YouTube. You can subscribe to our channel and you can follow me on Twitter. Follow, subscribe and add, and I will see you again tomorrow.